Well, Thursday night football will be the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, though I don't think either of the quarterbacks are going to play in the Thursday night game. We got the Gold Jacket dinner on Friday night in Canton, then the enshrinement ceremonies, which are really cool. Let's just kind of walk through those to be enshrined. He was the architect of San Diego Charger football. He was a creative genius. His favorite word, matchups. My favorite word, mismatches. What Don Coryell did to stockpile talent, what he did to develop Dan Fouts into a Hall of Fame quarterback, what he did when he cited and he signed and they drafted people like Kellen Winslow and Charlie Joyner and Wes Chandler and J.J. John Jefferson, and what they did to handle and tolerate Chuck Muncie and the unique piece that was James Brooks. Couldn't play a lick of defense, but obviously played a lot of offense. Don Coryell, after all these years, gets into the Hall of Fame. I can't wait for the Saturday ceremony because Dan Fouts will be his presenter. Tremendous honor. Obviously did not get in for a long time while he was alive because he never got to the playoff championship game. He never got to the Super Bowl, but he was just a creative genius. There's so many other good names. It's not a sexy position, left tackle, but pal, you better have a left tackle to protect that quarterback if you got a quarterback. Joe Thomas came from Wisconsin, put the helmet on, and never took the helmet off and never came out of the lineup. Think about this, Mr. Riley. 11-year starter. He played every game for 11 straight years at left tackle, never came out of the lineup. Jeez. Joe Thomas took 10,363 snaps in a row and then retired.
Amazing.
Retired with his health. Think about that when you consider the fatality rate around the NFL. So Joe Thomas, legendary Browns left tackle, goes into the Hall. This is one of my favorite linebackers of all time. Obviously not the same as 55 Junior Seau. Zach Thomas, what a made man. Undersized linebacker at 5'10 and a half, Texas Tech. He went to Miami and he played for Shula, and you could not get him off the field. He was a run stuffer. He was really good in coverage. Smart guy. 13 years in the NFL as an undersized middle linebacker, and he could run. Now, he wasn't the explosive, powerful guy that Seau was, but he was just an intellect, and he knew the angles, and he knew playbooks, and I thought he was phenomenal. Another non-sexy guy, played a defensive tackle forever for the New York Jets, Joe Klecko. He was part of the group that was led by that loudmouth Mark Gastineau. He was kind of the inside guy to what Gastineau was outside for the then New York Sack Exchange, which was a really fierce pass rush. So he goes in. DeMarcus Ware, was he linebacker? Was he defensive end? Was he paid the way he should have been paid? We do know this. Ex-Dallas Cowboy goes in, 135 career sacks. Really impressive numbers for DeMarcus Ware. Darelle Revis was really controversial. He probably goes in as a New York Jet. He played 11 years, had a bunch of injuries at the end. Kind of controversial because he talked his way out of a bunch of different places. He kept getting traded. But at the end of the day, Revis Island, and that's what they called the territories, like the Crone Zone, they called it Revis Island. After 11 years, he had 29 interceptions and was a real great single one-on-one coverage guy. Ronde Barber, I think, is one of the most unsung guys that Tony Dungy ever drafted. He played 16 years in the league. Tampa Bay, 47 interceptions, and he took 8 scores back for touchdowns. So led by Coryell, this is a marquee group. There are a couple of the old timers, Chuck Howley, legendary way back in the day, Dallas Cowboy linebacker, Ken Riley, great safety, great college football coach at the Black School, Florida A&M. Those guys will be enshrined too. But Eric Coryell, this is so cool considering what he did to contribute to the league, even though he didn't get there being a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think as Charger fans, we're happy to see him finally make it. And, you know, his legacy and his coaching tree is just a remarkable list of guys that are on there. But, you know, the name I saw on the list that kind of caught my attention was DeMarcus Ware, because if I recall, wasn't he in the same draft with Sean Merriman?
Yep.
And then the Chargers got Merriman, the Cowboys got Ware, and like who was the better linebacker? And for a while, Charger fans thought they had the guy, lights out, Sean Merriman. And then that whole thing just blew up.
Well, he got hurt. He had a knee injury, and he never was ever the same again. Ware had back problems at the end, but Ware stayed healthy. And Ware was really a multi-position guy. Ware is kind of a Joey Bosa, down lineman coming to get your quarterback, drop back linebacker, coming off the edge as a blitz guy. Ware was a multi-position guy, but the difference was lights out, got hurt fairly early, and then just evaporated. And Ware stayed healthy for a large chunk of his career, 135 sacks. That's a lot of productivity.
It is. And what about Ronde Barber? He has a brother, Tiki, right?
Yep.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, not yet.
But he's doing TV work and
different position. Ronde was part of a really collective group that Dungy and those people drafted in Tampa. I mean, they've got a lot of really good players. If you Google, just go back a group of years and just look at the roster or the depth chart of the guys who are in Tampa Bay during the Dungy era. What a collection of really good players. And Ronde's not a household name, but geez, you look at all the interceptions in 16 years of playing in the war. That's pretty impressive. So on we